Today we're making Shoo Fly Pie, and the name comes from the fact that it's a sticky sweet pie and you have to shoo the flies away. Being my first Shoo Fly Pie, I went to my local Amish market.
So the Shoo Fly pies would be similar to like a pecan pie. You do the juice first in the bottom of the crust, then you would put the crumbs on top and then bake them, and then that separates. It's like a gooey bottom and then a cake part. That's what the Shoo Fly pies would be.
There are two types of Shoo Fly pies, a wet bottom and a dry bottom.
The wet bottom would separate from the crust, the gooey part and the cake part, and the dry bottom would just be everything cake part. Crumbs, they would add more crumbs to the syrupy part, and then that would make it dry, like a dry bottom.
The main ingredient in Shoo Fly Pie is molasses, and I've never actually made a Shoo Fly Pie before, so I'm really looking forward to this because I just love molasses. So we start out in our mixing bowl with 1 cup of molasses. Any sort of molasses will work. That's slow as molasses in January. Then we add 3/4 of a teaspoon of baking soda. We add 1 slightly beaten egg, and I'm using an extra large egg. I think if you were using small eggs, I would use 2. And let's stir this together. The last thing we add to our filling is 3/4 of a cup of hot water. So I microwave this until it was boiling. And I figure it's best to slowly pour this and stir because that allows that hot water to cool just a little bit and we're not cooking our egg. That hot water really brings out that molasses smell. Now in another bowl, we're going to make our crumble topping, which includes 1½ cups of flour, all-purpose flour, 1 cup of brown sugar as opposed to granulated because brown sugar has molasses in it. I'm so excited about this pie because I grew up eating molasses and biscuits just about every day. My mother made biscuits every day, either for breakfast or for dinner. Because there were so many of us, she made a lot of biscuits. And when we got home from school, we would take the biscuits and slice them in half, put butter on them, and then toast them under the broiler. And then we would salt molasses with those toasted biscuit halves, and I love that. And I'm thinking that this pie is going to be very similar. To finish our crumble, we're cutting in 1/4 cup of shortening. I think you can use butter instead of shortening, although an authentic pie would have the shortening. You can use 2 forks for this step if you don't have the pastry cutter. Now I think that looks good. With the dry bottom pie, you would put half of this in with your molasses. So I'm gonna do sort of a quasi wet dry bottom and just put a little bit of the crumble mixture on top of my pie crust. I actually made a buttery pie crust for this because this is going to remind me so much of those buttered biscuits with molasses. So I'm sort of making it my own pie in a way. So I went ahead and just sprinkled about 2 tablespoons of this crumble mixture or crumb mixture in the bottom. I think that will prevent a soggy bottom. Oh my. And this sort of floats. Now it looks like my deep dish is a little big, doesn't it? You do want the deep dish because otherwise this will overflow. This pie goes into a 400-degree oven for 15 minutes, and then we're going to reduce the temperature to 350 degrees for 30 to 35 minutes. So I can't wait to see how this turns out. Now this is the pie at 15 minutes at 400. I want you to see it's jiggly and it is bubbling up, so it would be best to put that on a baking sheet. Turning the oven down to 350. This pie is cooked 20 minutes at 350. And it's browning up a little more than I want, so I'm covering the crust. You see the inside is still not set. Back in for at least 10 more minutes. I believe that is ready. That crumb topping has browned up. It's just a little jiggly. This cooked 15 minutes at 400. I moved the temp down to 350 and cooked it an additional 35 minutes. This is going on a cooling rack to completely cool, and we will slice into it. I'm surprised how solid this is. I've never made this before, and I really did not know what to expect, even though I have seen the Shoo Fly Pies at the Amish market. It turned out just like the pictures.